Hello, hi everyone. I'm Freodore, designer of NIJISANJI EN's 11th unit by the beat. Good afternoon. おはようございます。NIJISANJI EN 所属。by the beat のビジュアルセンスがこだわりのデザイナー、フリオドールです。Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Good evening. Today, we are starting an hour later than usual. We did have the radio, the first episode of By the Beat Radio, a few hours ago, so I wanted to get a little bit more rest before the coffee Zatsu of this week. So I decided to make it 1 hour later than usual. Yeah, you guys are frozen. 1 second. ちょっとね。動いていないんだ。If I do this. Hi, there you guys. There you guys are. There you go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the radio, right? Yeah, we did that like at 4 a.m. my time, so I decided to make the coffee Zatsu 1 hour later so that I could rest a little bit more, and I'm glad I did. It was a good sleep. そうですね、まあ昨日の夜By the Beat Radio のエピソードの1話を行いましたし、じゃあ今週のコフィーサツもっといつもより1時間後に変更したらいいかなと思ったから、まあちゃんと休めたからよかったね。おはようございますみんな。And yeah, what do you guys think of the radio? Do you guys enjoy it? みんなはラジオどう思った？ It was really fun doing it last night. One second. Yeah, okay. Everything's normal. It was fun. 楽しかった。Fue divertido. I'm glad. Thank you. And also, thank you everyone for submitting your responses, your letters, your correspondence in the form. It was fun picking them out and responding to them on the collab on the radio. そしてみんなフォームに参加してくださってありがとうございます。本当に楽しかったです。I think it was pretty funny. I did mention in the collab that I was the one that made the form, right? So I guess I can give like a little behind the scenes. We all really wanted to do a collab, but not necessarily a game collab for the first collab in our group channel. And we decided to do something that involved us talking, but not necessarily a group Zatsu like we usually do, because those are pretty like relaxed. We don't have like a set theme or anything. We just end up like talking about many things, right? And it can go for long. But we wanted something more organized, and we ended up going with radio, right? And that's where I proposed we do it more similar to like people that like seiyus would be familiar with this format, like the radio shows in Japan, where a lot of it consists of responding to correspondence from the listeners and the fans of the radio. We are not the first ones to do something like this in Niji. A lot of livers in JP have done their radio shows, and I think Shu Senpai has also done the NIJISANJI EN Radio in Japanese. So it's pretty similar to that format. I really wanted it to be more organized, so I proposed it to to the boys, and we all like narrowed down how we wanted it to go, and that's what came out. Of course, it was the first episode, so it's still a little bit. There's still a few things to polish, but I think it came out pretty well, so I'm happy about it. It was really funny though, because in the form, right, I gave you guys 2 options to write. I have the screenshot because I don't want. I want to show this as proof. So where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, it's not in this folder, that's why. Music or double vision. Exactly, I didn't put or. There was no or in the form. But I needed to show the proof. It was music and double vision, not or. There was no or. So I was really curious about when checking the answers, like topic music or double vision, music, double vision, music, double vision. But yeah, in case it wasn't clear in the description, so I put the explanation about how it works. So basically, I have changed the common correspondence to general, so it's a little bit easier to understand. But basically, in this tab is where you can send questions, requests, letters related to Just by the Beat. And then on the topic is where like you would submit the same thing, questions, letters, requests, but related only to music and double vision in this case. I have removed the topic entry for now, but it's gonna come back the moment we have another topic that we can announce for the next episode of the radio. People call it a minimalist form, but usually radio forms don't really need much. I referenced a lot of forms because I'm not that experienced with radio shows. I did a good amount of investigating for like other forms, how livers did it, how other radio shows do it. So this is usually how it goes. It's not just me doing it as minimal as possible. Yeah, the form is still open for the general correspondence. You have to do the Google Sheet yourself, not staff-san. I mean, staff really wants us to have free reign over how we want to do it. So that's how we decided to do it. So I asked, oh, can I make a Google form? And they said, yeah. Just confirm this with us, and we were able to do so. So it was my idea, that's why. Or like our idea after everyone confirmed.そうですね、まあ結構なんか日本のラジオ番組とかを参考してたね、今回は。本当にまあ僕はそのラジオ番組あんまり詳しくなかったからいっぱい検索してたけど、やっぱりいい感じだったね。普通歌は英語であまりなんか普通のお便りであまりないから多分英語で翻訳するのはちょっと難しかったけど、まあやっとできたよ。Does that mean we can use the form to send by the beat letters? If it's something related to our activities or to us, and it's something that maybe we can use as a topic for our radio, if you think it would be something that we could that you would like us to discuss in the radio, then yeah. It's probably like a chance for some questions or topics that perhaps are not necessarily in the best time and place in our regular streams, perhaps the radio would be better. But of course, let's not get too personal for the sake of our safety. Super chat ありがとうございます。But anyways, thank you so much for joining us for the radio. I hope you enjoy the future episodes as well. I'm really looking forward to it. だけど、というわけで、ラジオに来てくださってありがとうございます。本当に楽しかった。そして、次のエピソードを楽しみにしてね。So, the coffee of today. 今日のコーヒーですね。Here's my mark again. This is the recipe that we're gonna be doing today. 今日のレシピはこちらです。So, we're gonna be using the same, my same daily recipe, the 3-pour clarity recipe with the Origami Air M. We're gonna be using the X Bloom Premium Conical filters because they are the filters that I am using, that I have at the moment. They're pretty fast. I still like the Cafec TH3 filters a little bit better, but these are pretty good. Just a little bit small. And the interesting part, the coffee of today is called Velo de Novia from Peru. It's from Cajamarca, Peru. And it's a washed process, my favorite processing of coffee beans with notes of soft floral, golden kiwi, and white grape. It's a light roast. And as for the ratio, this is actually not correct. We're gonna be doing 250 grams of water, and we're gonna be doing 93 degrees Celsius. Since this is a washed coffee, we can probably go a little bit hotter. We're gonna go to 93. Oop. We're gonna be also doing a pretty medium coarse, the coarse grind with the Easy Presso CP6 at 58 clicks of the lock burr, of the burr lock. And our recipe is going to consist of 3 steps. 60 gram bloom, then we're going to be pouring onto 170 grams after a minute. And then once most of the water has drained out, we're going to be pouring the rest of the water onto the 150 grams. It's a pretty easy recipe, and I've been able to be a little bit more consistent with it compared to my previous 2-pour recipe, so I'm looking forward to it. Just give me a moment and I'm gonna briefly explain in Japanese. そうですね。こちらは今日のレシピです。いつもの折り紙 Air M、そして X Bloom Premium Conical Filter を使ってみます。今日の豆は、ペルー品種のベロデノビア。I forgot to share the roaster though. お味噌教えてないよね。Sweet Bloom Coffee. There you go. There you go. そしてね、生成過程は、ウォッシュ。そして味わいは、ソフトフローラル、ゴールデンキウイ、そしてホワイトグレープですね。焙煎は浅入りです。割合は、15g 豆、そして250お湯で入れてみます。93度で。低めは結構なんか粗めで引きますね。Easy Presso CP6 で58設定で。そしてレシピは結構簡単ですね。3番目のステップがあります。最初の蒸らしは 60g まで注ぎます。1分で 170g まで注いで、そしてもうお湯を結構流したら、残ってるお湯を注ぎます。250まで。後で完成です。But yeah, that's gonna be the coffee and recipe of today. It seems to be a very light and almost tea-like coffee, so I'm very excited about trying this out. These notes seem really interesting to me. And if you guys are curious, Velo de Novia It means bridal's veil in Spanish. So it's kind of like a wedding themed name on this bean. It's pretty interesting with the bridal veil. そうですね、ベロでノビアはスペイン語で、まあ、ウェディングベルの意味がありますね。に、まあ、西洋の和が帽子みたいな感じね。なんかウエスタンのウェディングベルの意味です。So, I wonder what's it trying to evoke with this kind of name. I don't know. It kind of gives me a very light feeling, you know, very light vibe. ちょっとなんか爽やかな感じがあると思うね。この名前で。If you guys are curious about the information, more information regarding the bean, I can share the link with you. Unfortunately, I don't think they do international shipping, but it's still pretty interesting to see. They also have a few recommended ways of brewing, including with the origami air, like I'm using, or through espresso. So it's pretty interesting. Also, very transparent information regarding the costs. So it's a very transparent, labor-friendly producer. And while it's a light roast, it's not on the super light level. It seems to be like just a regular light roast this time. So it seems interesting. Seems pretty interesting. On experience, there is like a spectrum between comfort and adventure, and they seems to be more leaning towards comfort over adventure, which sounds like right up my alley. I want comfort from my coffee. Maybe adventure is nice every now and then, though, with like the super funky flavors. But it's been a while since I have like a classic washed coffee that's not like behind a fancy process or anything like that. So I think I thought it's time for me to order something like this. So let's do it. そうですね、まあこのサイトで残念ながらインターナショナルシッピングはできないけど、まあこのサイトでコーヒーの上皮は結構あります。本当に面白いです。そしてだってなんか焙煎は結構浅入りだけど、なんかスーパー浅入り、スーパーライトではない。そして経験のバーで、そしてなんかなんていうの、コンフォートとアドベンチャー、冒険となんていうの、安心かな、安心感のバーでコンフォートの方が近いから結構いい感じだと思いますね。久しぶりにワッシュとコーヒーを入れないから。So, how about we start the ASMR section of the stream? I took a bit of a while. So maybe we should go ahead and start. まあ結構時間が経ったから説明ね。コーヒー入れましょうか。So, where is it? There you go. I'm gonna change the setting on my microphone and turn off the filters. じゃあ、フィルターをオフにして、マイクの設定変わります。There you go. Oh, wait. There you go. It should be easier to hear my room from now on. 部屋はもっと聞こえるように、部屋はもっと聞こえるようになったね。There you go. So let's see. It smells pretty nice. Very, it's not fruity. I don't know. It says floral, but it definitely smells more like flowers than like a fruit. but I cannot pinpoint which kind of flower it is. そうだね、なんか果物よりなんかお花の味の匂いが強いけど、どの花はまだわからないね。Also, this bag of beans, this set of beans was roasted on March 31st. So we have had a good amount of time to let it rest, thankfully. So we can go with a normal recipe this time. そうですね。今回はこの豆は、31日、先月の31日に焙煎されましたから、結構時間が経ったね。ちょうどいいだ。We're gonna be weighing 15 grams as usual. 15 グラムまで豆そぎます。OK。You know, the packaging is really pretty. It's full of flowers. It's really nice. この袋は結構綺麗だ。And we're gonna be doing 58 clicks on the Easypresso CP6. The Easypresso CP6 stands out when it comes to washed coffees and flavor transparency, clarity. So, flavor separation. So this is the perfect grinder to approach this coffee with, in my opinion, at least for the first time. I'm sure with a Comandante you can get some pretty good results, but when trying to aim for a bright cup, I really like the CP6. そうですね、まあこの豆は結構ウォッシュとそしてフローラルな感じがあるから、CP6 に、ZP6 にちょうどいいと思いますね。透明感と、味わいの分かれ方が結構いいと思うから。この豆をこのグラインダーで迎えのいいと思います。So, let's start grinding. じゃあ、弾きましょうか。That was pretty fast. 早かったね。You know, CP6 with this setting, which is 58, that's pretty fast. Pretty fast. Even faster when I was grinding at 63 clicks, but I think 58 is a good point with this new recipe. そうですね。そして前、設定したの63クリックでもっと早かったけど、まあ、このレシピで58クリックはちょうどいいと思います。We want kind of like the consistency of a granulated sugar in a way. ちょっとなんか砂糖の粉が砂糖みたいになったらいいと思います。And since this grinder is made of aluminum instead of plastic, I guess it's easier for you guys to hear when I'm closing it or not, right? CP6 は、プラスチックじゃなくて、アルミニウムだから結構うるさいよね。聞こえますよ。So, we have everything ready. ドリッパーを準備しましたから、そろそろ始めましょうか。Let's start. We have our water at 92 or 93 degrees. Either is fine. So, we're gonna do our first bloom. じゃあ、蒸らし始まります。Start from the center. Make sure all the grounds are coated in the water. And we're gonna wait for a minute. 真ん中から始まって、コーヒーの粉を全部を、お湯を、なんか、触れて、注ぎますね。後で1分待ちます。 This is a washed coffee, and washed coffees tend to benefit from agitation. So we're gonna be pouring from further away and a little bit more aggressively with our pores. That way we can get a little bit more extraction out of it with the amount of pores that we have. But if it was a natural, we can probably get away with doing a cleaner or a more gentle pouring pattern. So it's been a minute. I'm gonna just aggressively pour until 170 grams. There you go. はい、できました。Velo de Novia es el nombre de una cascada en Cajamarca. Oh, yo no sabía. Con razón, eso tiene mucho más sentido, tal vez. O tal vez es un juego de palabras con ambos significados. Interesante, interesante. So it seems like someone has informed us that in Cajamarca, Peru, where this bean comes from, Velo de Novia is the name of a waterfall. So that means it's referencing maybe that waterfall itself and not really or not necessarily the wedding theme. That's pretty cool. That's a nice play on words then. なるほどですね。まあ、今教えてもらったけど、カハマルカペルーで、この豆の品種ね。ベロデノビアは、カースケードの名前。面白い。だからね。Alright, so, it's been drained, so now we're gonna pour until 250 grams. よし。Yeah, that's pretty cool that it's referencing the cascade then. 面白いですね。Also, I can feel like this is draining way slower. I think the filter might have clogged a little bit. ちょっとなんか遅くて流してるよね。Maybe I will try and grind coarser next time. ちょっとなんか遅く流してるから、多分また今度、本当粗挽きで聞きましょうかな。But yeah, it's taking its time. While it's taking its time to drain, I guess I can explain the pouring pattern a little bit with the mark. 流すたびにこれを説明できるかな。What I mean about pouring with agitation, it tends to be with not only just the distance, how far I am from the dripper, but also how I am circling around my pores. So if it was a little bit of a gentle pour, it would be kind of like this, staying in the center, not moving much. But when I mean with turbulent or agitation-focused pores, I would be pouring kind of like this, Of course, without making a mess or anything like that, but we would be pouring like this. And then gentle would be more like this, そうですね、注ぎ方を説明するときに、なんか、攪拌がありの注ぐってよく参考してるけど、まあ、説明するのがちょっと難しいよね。けど、注ぐたびに、これは結構優しいの注ぎ方だけど、攪拌ならこんな感じですね。こうやって時々なんか抽出が上がれる。ウォッシュコーヒーに結構いい。But yeah, no, this is the first time this recipe takes this long, so I'm very curious. このレシピは初めてこんな時間かかるから本当に気になるね。So yeah, we just finished and it took us almost 5 minutes. That's not usually how long it takes me to brew a coffee with this recipe, so very interested. Maybe it's the filter also that didn't like the pouring pattern that I did today. I will see. もう完成しましたね。5分で。I don't really catch any specific smell yet. 特別な... No, wait. It does smell kind of fruity, actually. Is it the grape, maybe? グレープかな? Let me just put things away. ちょっと片付け. Alright. I'm gonna pour the coffee. So, if you guys have misophonia or are bad with any kind of drinking sounds, I warn you. I'm gonna be doing a loud-ish sip to taste the notes of the coffee, so we'll see. スプチャットありがとうございます。そうですね、飲むの音苦手人に、ちょっと注意しますね。味わうためにうるさくて飲みますから。じゃあ、いただきます。Provecho, gracias, gracias. Gracias, gracias. Let's see. This is nice, yeah. It's very light. Very light vibe. 結構柔らかいですね。Let's see if as it cools down we can maybe taste it a little bit more. It's very aromatic once like you get close to once it gets close to your nose whenever you're drinking. I feel like it hits you with a pretty I don't know, I feel like it reminds me of some kinds of teas that I've drank. And then at the end you get a little bit of like the tart juicy taste of like a grape or kiwi, you know. Yeah, kind of reminds me of like jasmine or something. Yeah, kind of like jasmine at first, and then it transitions into like a fruity flavor at the end. It's very subtle. It's not that strong. But I think with the time it took for this coffee to brew, it ended up being a little bit stronger than I would like. So I definitely want to try either repeating this recipe, maybe this filter just clogged up today, or maybe increasing the grind size for it to flow faster. But this is not bad. It's not bad at all. It's pretty nice. I like coffee when it's pretty light like this, so. It's very good. そうですね。結構、まあ、ちょっと待ってね。Let me turn on the... Otherwise you'll start hearing the window because of the wind. Alright, and the mic setting is back to normal. マイク設定は普通に戻りました。今日そうですね。まあ最初は結構なんかフローラルな感じが絶対にあるよ。多分、どの花がちょっと難しいけど、なんかジャスミンとか思い出すね。そして、最後で、なんか酸っぱいな、少しだけ酸味が出るよ。なんかキウイとグレープみたいな味が出るよ。本当にいい感じだ。結構柔らかい。でも、まあ、今日は結構時間が経ったからね、5分ぐらいから、ボディが結構強いと思うね。圧倒的に強くないけど、まあ普通にこのレシピ の結果より強い。だから多分、また今度、まあ同じのレシピや、同じのレシピで入れてみたらどうかな？同じぐらいかかるかな？そうなら、ただグラインダーでもっと粗挽きで引きます。Super nice though. Pretty nice, pretty nice. I think like once it cools down, I'll be able to tell a little bit more, like the separation of the notes. That's pretty common when it comes to brewing coffee. When it's like freshly brewed, it's a little bit harder to tell the notes, but the experience you get from freshly brewed coffee is really nice. So I think just experiencing the freshly brewed, then slightly like just warm and then cool down taste when it comes to brewing coffee like this is quite nice, quite nice. 好きな味ですか？結構好きだよ。このなんかフローラルな柔らかい感じが好き。だからウォッシュと豆が気に入ってます。これホット飲むのとアイスで飲むとの味変わる？変わります。本当に関係があります。だって、お湯の温度で抽出とか、そして割合も変わるから、結構コーヒーの味わいの出し方は変わるよね。この豆もアイスコーヒーに合いそう。So, we were asked if the flavor changes if you brew the coffee hot or cold. And yeah, of course it changes. There's a big influence in temperature. Maybe not like 2 degrees of temperature, that's not gonna change much. But if you brew a coffee at like 98 compared to 90 degrees, there's gonna be a big difference. And when it comes to iced coffee or cold coffee, you are sometimes diluting the ratio with ice. Sometimes you are brewing at a little bit more concentrated ratio with hotter water or cooler water to make up for the ice. So yeah, the result is gonna be effectively different. But I do think this bean does suit iced coffee as well. Like, don't you have coffee with ice at all? I do enjoy iced coffee very much whenever it's really hot, but right now it hasn't been overwhelmingly hot, and since I'm trying a new bean right now, then I usually try and drink them hot for the first time. As for like floral teas or fruit teas, I like both, but I think floral is my favorite. It really depends on the bean, right? There's gonna be some fruity beans that I like more. And there's gonna be some floral beans that I like more, or some sweet beans that I like more. But usually a combination between floral and fruity is like what I like the most. そしてフローラルとフルーティーな中で、僕がフローラルの方が好きだけど、豆によるね、時々、なんかフローラルよりフルーティーな豆が、好きなフルーティー豆があるから、豆による、本当に。そして、個人的にフローラルとフルーティーの味わい混ぜたら結構いいと思います。あれは最高だと思います。 There's a very pleasant bitterness to it. When you first drink, it starts like it's bitter, but not. It's kind of like taking a bite into like a 75% dark chocolate. It does not give me dark like chocolate vibes at all when it comes to the taste, but the bitterness of like that level of dark chocolate kind of hits you first, and then like, but it's like a very gentle bitterness. It's kind of weird to explain, but I really like it. I think that might be because of how long it took to brew though. So I feel like if the brew method is shorter, maybe I could try with my normal with the other 2-pour recipe, the one that's like 45-gram bloom, and then just pouring the rest of the water with a turbulent pour. Then maybe I can get a little bit more clarity out of it. And that initial bitterness is gonna go away, but this is pretty nice so far. It gives me like a very... It feels gentle from start to finish, which I like.そうですね、最初飲むときに結構なんかダークなんか 70% ぐらいのダークチョコレートみたいな苦味が出るけど、まあ味は全然チョコレートっぽくないけど、あの苦味ね、ちょっと似てるよ。そして後でなんかフラルとフルーティーな味わいは出るよけど、ずっと優しい感じがある。ずっと優しい感じがあるからいいと思う。多分2番目ステップのレシピでどうかな。なんか 45g 蒸らし、そして後で残ってるお湯の攪拌で注いたら多分透明感が上がると。Do you prefer different roast for the time of the day? I just drink light roast, honestly. I don't really drink medium roast or dark roast anymore. I like light roast the most, so usually that's what I go for. Because it gives a very specific type of flavor that medium and dark cannot replicate. Medium is kind of like an all-rounder, balanced, but it leans more towards sweetness more than like acidity, brightness, or fruitiness, or florality also. So usually I lean towards light roast. If I were to drink something with milk, then maybe I would go for a medium or dark. But I don't, so always light roast for me. Do you like it when flavor is more astringent? Then I really appreciate acidity and florality in coffee. Bitterness is nice, sweetness is nice. I like sweetness a lot also. But there's something about that pleasant acidity that's not harsh at all from a good brew that made me really like these kinds of recipes. Because I could brew with like the comandante and maybe like a finer grind and a lot of pours, like 4 to 5 pours, and get a stronger, more concentrated, more extracted cup. But I like the lightness of it. I mean, super light roast still tastes like coffee though. The tasting notes are a reference, but any coffee with tea notes is not gonna necessarily taste just like tea. Maybe similar, but not exactly like it. It's very easy to tell it's still coffee, you know. As for espresso, I do drink espresso, but not that much anymore. I prefer pour over. Also, it's easy to think sometimes that, acid coffee can hurt my stomach. It can be bad. Usually, like, if you have a reflux, then it can be something that you need to be wary of. But sometimes depending on the bean, on how you brew it, it can be not as harsh. I remember like when I've had some like black coffee like from just a normal run-of-the-mill coffee machine, like a like not a pour over, just like a drip coffee machine. Super strong, super acid in like an unpleasant way, and that one hurts your stomach. So I thought, oh, maybe I don't want... That's something that I actually thought when I first started getting to black coffee. It's like, oh, I don't want acidity at all because it's gonna make my stomach upset. I want sweetness. That's what I really was striving for, especially in the like when I started my activities. I was striving more towards sweetness, and over the course of the different brews, different techniques, I grew more into acidity actually. But it's the nice acidity, the pleasant acidity, more than the sweetness. But sweetness is still important. I think most pour over drinkers aim for sweetness though, so it's not bad to go for that. Like a developed taste to it. I think it's more like I finally tasted like good acidity in a way. Like if you're gonna try caviar for the first time, if you try cheap caviar and that's like your impression of caviar, then maybe you won't want to try like expensive caviar later on. But if like good caviar is like your first impression, then you'll probably be, oh yeah, I like caviar. Kind of like that, you know? That's why I've been really careful about trying uni, because whenever people tell me about uni and sushi, it's kind of like many people like it, many people hate it, and it's really gonna depend on where you go. Like high quality uni tastes very different from cheap uni or low quality uni. So I kind of want to try good quality uni first before I make any decisions, you know? そうですね。まあ、僕のコーヒーの旅で、最初は酸味が好きじゃないと思ってた。だって昔、なんかただ普通のコーヒーマシンのブラックコーヒー飲んだら、まあ、お腹が痛くなりましたね。あのコーヒーの酸味のおかげで。だから、酸味が欲しくないと思ってたけど、まあ、自分で入れるたびに、だって、ハンドドリップ始まった時に、一番欲しかった味わいは甘さね。甘いコーヒー欲しかったから、あれを集中してたけど、まあ、途中で、この酸味が結構いいんじゃないと思ってた。だから、いい酸味なら結構好きだと思いましたね。だから多分なんかカビアルとかウニみたいにやっぱりなんか味食べ物のクオリティが大事ですね。よく言われてるよ。フリオがウニを食べてみたら、本当になんかいいウニを食べてください。だって、クオリティが良くなかったら、なんかロークオリティウニとハイクオリティウニは結構違うから。 クオリティによって印象が変わるよね。スプチャットありがとうございます。That's how I feel about durian. Is durian different depending on the quality of it? I thought durian was more of an acquired taste thing, but I'm not sure. I just know it's stinky. I just heard it's pretty smelly. Also, there was another question that I think it's pretty good to bring up. Is it normal that it flooded when I pour, or the B60 filter I use is wrong brand? I think it's most likely not your filter. I think the filter is most likely gonna be something you can work with. But if your coffee clogs or floods a lot, it might mean that you're grinding too fine for your bean. I think you might need to grind a little bit coarser. Sometimes depending on it also can depend on the quality of your grinder. Like budget grinders or cheap grinders cannot grind fine very well. So if you grind fine on like a cheap grinder or like a budget grinder, then it's very easy for the particle distribution to not be even, and then you end up with clogging. So if you're experiencing that and you don't want to like immediately buy a new grinder or something, I would suggest grinding a little bit coarser. I see, so the quality definitely affects durians, huh? And there's types also. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Even like I mean, not saying that durian's not a normal fruit, but fruits that I am more used to, like let's say a mango. The difference between a good quality mango and a lower quality mango is huge, right? So that makes sense. Coffee もインスタントと別物ですよね。インスタントは本当に別物だ。同じじゃないよ。痛いよ、インスタント。You tried a place where it was available, did you try it? Why not? At least once, right? It's important to try things at least once when it comes to food. そうですね、まあ、なんていうの。なんか、コーヒーを注ぐときに、なんかお湯は、なんていうの、つらませたら、多分、フィルターのせいじゃなくて、低めや豆のせいかな。だって、時々、特になんか、安いグラインダーで、なんていうの。細めで引いたら、多分、低めのクオリティがそんなになんか安定じゃないから、注ぐときに、詰まらせるかもしれないね。だからよくなんか粗挽きで引くのおすすめ。おすすめだ。特にだってみんなまあよくレシピで細引きのレシピが結構多いから多分初心者も細引きで入れてみてるけど多分 あれかもしれないよね。フィルターが詰まる。Sorry, I'm still talking about the filter clogging in Japanese because I didn't get to explain it, but I think it's something that happens very common to people that are starting with pour over, because a lot of pour over recipes that are using like the highest quality equipment involve finer grind. And I mean, I have pretty good equipment and even I don't do fine grinds, right? But the finer you do, the finer you go, the more likely you are to experience clogging because of the particle distribution. And also, depending on how you brew, depending on your technique, since it's finer, the water is going to stay, even if it doesn't clog, the water is still going to stay the water's going to have more contact with the coffee beans, right? With the coffee grinds. So it gives you more room for error, and it gives you a significantly higher chance of getting like a really bitter cup. A really strong and bitter cup. Some people will like that, but a lot of people won't. So that's why I'm a big like grind course advocate. I'm a big advocate for grinding coarser. So してまあコーヒーがなんかフィルターがつまらなくても細引きだからコーヒーとお湯触る時間が長いから粗挽きよりだからテクニックによってコーヒーが苦くなるかもしれないが上がるよね。だから僕は結構細引きでおすすめです。細引きじゃなくて粗挽き。Thank you for super chat. Thank you very much. This is really interesting. So the coffees look warm now. It's not super hot anymore. And now the aftertaste has changed from a fruity flavor to a super floral. It really gives me like a berry. I think jasmine again, but it could be another flower or another type of a tasting note. But it really gives me a big like floral aftertaste now that it's cooled down. It's really pleasant. そうですね、コーヒーは冷めたし、今もなんか後味が酸味よりなんかフローラルの味わいが上がったよ。The flower bloomed. Kinda, that's a good analogy. 花が咲くんだ。咲いた。Do you taste much of the white grape? I tasted it when I first brewed it, when the coffee was hot. It was really present in the aftertaste, and it was also pretty present once I brewed it, like the smell. But now it's not that strong, now that it's a little bit lukewarm. Would you recommend it? Yeah, I can recommend this coffee. If you're able to purchase it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to purchase all of these coffees because it depends on the producer and where they ship. But sometimes it's easy to have a reference for you to look for coffees that are local to you or available to you that have similar tasting notes. Similar process and tasting notes, and maybe that can help. The kiwi notes are also gone. I don't think they're gone though. I don't think the grape is gone either. It's just the florality became stronger. more than anything. But yeah, what could I eat this with? I would probably like to have these with the the Japanese cheesecakes, those super fluffy light cheesecakes compared to like the Western really strong thick cheesecakes, the ones that seem almost like a souffle. Maybe with like a souffle pancake or like a Japanese cheesecake, I would probably enjoy this coffee with. このコーヒーはと結構なんか日本のチーズケーキと食べたらいいと思いますね。結構なんかふわふわのデザート。スーフレパンケーキもいいコンビだと思う。だって海外のチーズケーキがそれにふわふわじゃないよね。もっとなんかケーキみたいな感じや。The texture is definitely different. Yeah, and at least in my experience, the taste was not as strong in the fluffy ones. Souffle チーズケーキか。そう。だって普通のチーズケーキより味がそんなに甘くないよね。いい感じだと。Yeah, the souffle cheesecakes. If I were to associate this with a season, I think spring is pretty good though. I think spring just comes straight into my head. スペシャルありがとうございます。季節ならまあやっぱり春ですね。春しかないと思う。このコーヒーね。Do you enjoy mochi? I haven't had like the traditional mochi. I've had like mochi snacks, but I haven't had like the traditional mochi. But what I've had mochi related, I've always liked. So. Nice. I don't know, it's like I should probably be enjoying this cup right now, and I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it quite a lot, but I'm also thinking, okay, well, I want to try it with this. I want to try it with like this different technique, or what if it was like a mistake of pouring because I'm pouring in my desk? There's actually a big difference when I pour coffee normally, because I'm usually standing up. And I can control my pours a little bit better, but when I'm on stream in my desk with everything, then it's a little bit harder, right? I'm sitting down in this table in the cafe here, so. So I'm trying to think, was it a pouring error, or was it just like something where I should grind coarser, finer? I'll have to see. So ですね、まあ今はもちろんコーヒーをエンジョイしてるけど頭の中でまた今度何変わったらいいかなってレシピでって思ってる。そして多分このなんかなんていうのさっきなんかだってフィルターが詰まったと思うから多分注ぎ方のせいかなと思ってる。だってもちろん一人でコーヒー入れるときにと配信でコーヒー入れるときが結構違うよね。だって配信の時は僕が使ってるから。だから注ぎ方はちょっとだけ難しくなるけど。多分また今度同じレシピならで入れたら同じ結果があるかなと思ってる。 Anyway, there is another topic that I want to talk about today for this Zatsu, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and change to that. It's nothing serious, by the way. It's just anime. ところで、今日も、別の話題を話したかったですね。今回は、今放送してるのアニメの話。Yeah, I wanted to talk about like the anime that's airing this season. Since there's a lot of interesting stuff out, so it's there's a lot to watch. So let me hide the recipe here. So yeah, I'm watching way more things than I thought I would. But it's exciting. I was kind of down a bit after Fate Strange Fake and Jujutsu Kaisen and Medalist ended, so it's nice to have more series to like keep me preoccupied. そうだね、まあさっき Fate Strange Fake、Jujutsu Kaisen とメダリストの放送終わったから結構ダウンしてたけど、まあ今回は結構面白いアニメを放送してるからいいですね。So I have not watched a lot of these, but I still want to watch them. I just haven't had the time. So I'm looking at the chart of the anime this season, but that's the Be Right Back screen. All right. So let's see. So anime that I'm watching. 今見てるアニメ、そして見るつもりアニメですね。Of course. Which had a tailor. This one I watched both episodes already. もちろんですね。とんがり帽子のアテリエ。あれはもう放送してた放送してたエピソードも見た。本当に面白いですね。It's super interesting. I really like how intricate the world building and the explanation of magic is so far. It's really nice, and I mean, Hanae Natsuki-san as a Kifri, it's also really good, so it's been nice. I think the idea of the concept of magic being something that you draw is pretty unique, and I'm really interested. I'm sure this is not a combat focused series, but I do think there is combat later in the series, in the manga. So I'm very curious about how it's implemented, because in the lore of the story, any kind of spell that harms humans or harms anyone is prohibited. So my theory is that they'll have to circumvent that by applying the spell to something else and using that as a weapon or something like that. So maybe the concept of magic without being able to use like straightforward combat magic to fight is super interesting to me. And then I think it gives room to a lot of creativity when it comes to like creative expression when it comes to like how characters use their magic abilities. I'm really interested in that. 本当に面白いですね、この魔法のシステム。だってなんか人類をなんか怪我される魔法は禁止されてるから、戦闘はどんな感じかなと思ってる。僕の理論で、だって漫画読んだことないし、多分直接なんか攻撃魔法できないけど、多分なんか魔法で武器とか作れるみたいな感じがあるかなと思って。もちろんこのシリーズは戦闘向けだけない。戦闘向けではないけど、戦闘なら面白そうと思う。多分キャラクターの特徴が、なんか魔法の使い方のキャラクターの特徴が出ると思う。 So yeah, this is probably like one of the series that I'm looking forward to the most. 多分このシリーズは一番楽しみにしてます。楽しみにしてるんよね。So next, this one I'm also pretty caught up because I have been watching this anime for many years, and at this point I just enjoy it. So next is the Classroom of the Elite. Are you going to the anime blind? Yeah, I have not read the manga for Atelier. So I think in Japanese it's a pretty long name, like Yokoso Jitsuryoku Shijo Shugi no Kyoshitsu e. Something like that, like Yoshitsu. I think it's shortened, but I like it. I really like Ayano Koji, Kiyotaka as a character. So watching him like approach all these situations is really interesting. I don't know, it's just a cool character. 長い名前。本当に長いよ。ヨシツって言うよね。まあ、昔から見てるよね。最初のシーズン出た時から。そして綾小路のキャラクター結構好きだった。だから面白いと思いますね。なんかどんななんか状況の迎え方が面白い。What else am I watching? This one, I haven't finished the first episode. I started the first episode, but I had to do something, so I couldn't continue. So this next one is called Yomi no Tsugai. I forgot the name in English, so I think it's called like Demons of the Shadow Realm or something like that. I don't know much about this series because I only started it like last night and I didn't finish it. I didn't finish the episode. But I believe this is from the mangaka of Full Metal Alchemist, which is one of my favorite series of all time, so I was really curious about their next work. そうですね。まあ、読みのつがいね、最初のエピソード始まったけど、全部見てなかったね。これは、まあ、鋼の錬金術師の漫画家さんだから、荒川博夢先生、そう。だから、興味あるよね。久しぶりに、多分、アルスラン戦記から見てないから。面白そう。You know, I don't think I've watched any works from Arakawa Hiromu sensei since Arslan Senki, so I'm really interested in it. Next, I am not sure if I'll be able to watch this season, but of course. Diamond Noise, right? Unfortunately, I am not caught up with the story. I didn't finish watching the last season. And then I didn't finish watching Act 2, so I'm a little bit behind. So if I'm able to catch up with everything that I need to do, then maybe I'll watch it because I really like Diamond Noise. I'm just behind. So I need to watch it. I really like Furuya, I really like Haruchi. So it would be good to see them again, but I need to catch up. そうですね、まあダイヤね、ダイヤ好きだけど、本当に好きだけど、まあ、前のシーズンを全部見てなかったから、 見ないといけないね。けど本当に興味ある。だって古谷くんもはるじさんも久しぶりに見たいから。機会があれば見るね。Next, this is also similar where I am not caught up. So I don't know if I'll be able to I don't know if I'll be able to watch it, but ReZero Season 4. I am a bit behind on that also, so I need to catch up on that. There's so much anime, so little time. そうですね、リゼロもさっきの前のシーズンは見てなかったから難しいよ。本当に難しい。時間が足りないよ。興味あるけど。Do you like main characters of anime? Mostly, I usually like side characters more than main characters. It depends on the series, but I don't really... It depends on the show. When I like a character, I don't really care whether they're a main character or not. たくさん忙しい。ね。Next, what's another one that I was interested in? 次はなんだろう。There was another one. Oh yeah. I've talked about this one a lot. これは結構なんか話したことあるよね。Niwatori Fighter. The chicken fighting anime. Nah, just kidding. なんてね。神の雫。This is an anime about wine tasting. It's an anime focused on wine tasting. I really like the manga for this. So I'm very happy that we get an anime adaptation. そうですね。神の雫が本当に面白そうだって。面白いです。漫画読んだことあるし、これはワインの漫画だから、ワインの味わう漫画ね。漫画読んでた時に本当に好きだったから、アニメが出てよかった、本当に。Niwatori Fighter, though, I actually read a bit of the manga, and the illustrations are really good. It's like a chicken shonen fighting. It's like chicken One Punch Man in a way. So it was pretty fun. I wouldn't judge anyone that's enjoying it. The manga was really fun, so. あ、Niwatori Fighter ね。漫画読んだことあって、本当になんかイラストがすごかったよ。絵がすごかった。そして面白かったね。なんか、鶏のワンパンマンみたいな感じがあった。Pelea de gallos animada, básicamente, ¿no? Pero solo es pelea de gallo, porque solo es un gallo peleando contra marcianos, alienígenas, monstruos. Sí que solo es un gallo. そうですね、なんか強い鶏がいろんななんかエイリアンとか化け物と戦って、本当に面白い話だ。And I think there's one more that I'm interested in. I don't know if I'll watch it, but it's one of my favorite series. There's just too many. いっぱいがあるから多分これは最後だけど、見るのはまだわからないね。ドロヘドロ Season 2. I love Dorohedoro. Dorohedoro is one of my favorite mangas of all time. It was on my debut slides. I really like Dorohedoro, and season 1 was really nice. But I read all of the manga, so I am in no rush to read it. I mean to watch the anime adaptation. I read all of the manga. I really like the manga. So if I have time, I'll watch it, but we'll see. そうですね。まあ、ドロヘドロが本当に大好きだ。漫画ね。初配信で、好きな漫画で書いてたね。でも、漫画もう全部読んだから、ほんまに見ないといけないの、なんか、焦る感じがないし、マイペースで機会があれば見るよね。I love Dorohedoro. My favorite character is N. The mushroom guy. I thought his ability was really interesting. It's not something that you would expect from like a terrifying or like a really strong character. You wouldn't think his ability would be just mushrooms. But the way he uses them is really terrifying. And I don't want to spoil too much, but he has a really interesting character arc throughout the series, so I like him a lot. And of course, like Noi-san is also cool. そうですね。まあ、個人的にドロヘドロの中でエンさんが一番好きですね。本当になんか能力の使い方が面白いと思った。だってキノコなら本当になんかヴィランとかちょっとなんかギャグのキャラクターのイメージが出るけど、本当になんかシリアスのキャラクターでキノコの能力があって本当にすごいと思った。そして使い方は本当に恐ろしいよ。怖いと思ってたから。漫画家が天才すぎると思ってた。Yeah, he has his silly moments also, which is really refreshing. そして面白い部分があるから。Thoughts on isekai? If you like world building, I would recommend. I watched all of the seasons of Slime until this last one, but I ended up dropping the series. It's nice. I thought it was nice, especially for the first few seasons, but then it just became a little bit too repetitive and too politics focused. That I don't know. It kind of lost me. I don't think it's a bad series at all. It has really cool characters, but I just stopped watching. I think when it comes to politics, I like the way that Overlord implemented it the most. If it's a politics focused series. そうですね、スライムも見てたね。まあ今放送してるシーズンが見てないけど、その前は全部見てた。けど、なんか異世界なら、その雰囲気があったら、オーバーロードが結構好きだよね。なんかポリティクス多いシリーズが。I really would love another season of Overlord. But you know, isekai, I mean, I like isekai if it's interesting. And Agents of the Four Seasons, I've heard people talk about it, but I don't know much about it. I looked at it and it seemed like a kind of fantasy vibe, right? Maybe that one's one that maybe I'll wait and see. If it's a good adaptation, then I'll check it out. But maybe it would be good to watch. It's from the same author as Violet Evergarden, right? Maybe it would be something that perhaps would be cool to watch on a watch along. All of these I'll be watching by myself, so maybe that one would be interesting. If it's good, maybe we can watch it on watch along. 春夏秋東大校舎ね。なんかバイオレット・エヴァーガーデンの同じ人。あまり詳しくないけど、なんかアニメが良かったら多分同時視聴でいいかな。面白そう。バイオレット・エヴァーガーデンが結構良かったから。Dr. Stone I'm really behind on. I think the last one I watched was like 2 seasons ago. Or 3, I don't know. But they were already like... They already had made the boat and they were going to different islands and... I think they even wanted to go to the moon or something. That's where I think that's where I left off, where they wanted to go to the moon. Dr. Stone ね、もう結構見ないといけない部分が多いよね。最後見た時になんか2期に行きたかったね、みんなが。フリオが紹介してるアニメは日本のやつなんかな。そうです。今日本で放送してるアニメの話だ。なんかこれは興味あるアニメね。興味あるアニメあるの。興味あるアニメのリストだ。So crazy to think that it's ending already, or ending soon, Dr. Stone. It feels like it's been a while. But it also feels like it just started last year, so fast, huh? 早いよね、時間が。Dr. Stone が多分なんか去年に始まった気がするけど。そろそろ終わるかな。Have you tried watching Hell's Paradise? Yeah, I love 地獄楽。地獄楽 I read all of the manga. 地獄楽は全部読んだね、漫画が。好きだよ。And the main character, Gabimaru, is voiced by one of my favorite seiyus, Kobayashi Chiaki. So, yes, I do like 地獄楽。そうですね、もちろん好きだわ。そして、主人公のガビマルさんが、小林千秋さんが、ボイスしてるから。いいよね。誰か好きですか？ガビマル。ガビマルもちろん。あのシリーズで主人公好き。Are you ongoing type or marathon type? I don't have the time to marathon, nor the patience. I prefer to watch ongoing anime. Because then I have something to look forward in the week, and then you can slowly finish it without it feeling too heavy. Sometimes like, oh, I want to watch this, but there's so many episodes, like, I won't watch it, and there's no time. It's kind of like something I loathe. Having to catch up, having to watch all these episodes. But if it's airing, then I can watch just once a week. And just naturally, you end up finishing the series, right? So I like watching while it's airing more. そうですね。まあ、全部見るよりなんか放送してるたびにアニメ見るのが好き。だって、時々、まあ、エピソードを保ってたら、ちょっと、時間が足りない気がするよね。全部見ないといけない気がするけど、放送してたら、毎週一つだけ見たら、ただ、 ゆっくり。なんか視線に全部見るよね。Let me put this spring season anime because people are asking me about anime that is not for this season. Like Free Run, we just finished it in the watch along 2 days ago actually. So if you're interested, we did a watch along for Free Run, the new season in membership. Are you interested in Witch Hat Atelier at all? Yeah, it's number 1 on the list over here. Code Geass is pretty good, huh? Code Geass is nice. I do like it. I watched it a long time ago, though. Who's my favorite character in ReZero? I like Echidna. I like Echidna in ReZero. ReZero 一番好きなキャラクターね。Echidna さんかな? Do you have favorite genre of anime? Psychological. Psychological seinen. Yeah, but yeah, this is pretty much the anime that I'm interested. I'm not watching. I don't know if I'll be able to watch all of them, but Witch Hat Atelier, Classroom of the Elite, Yomi no Tsugai, these 3 I'm definitely watching. These remaining 4, I'll watch them if I have time. With Kami no Shizuku as the priority. But we'll see. そうですね、まあ今放送してるアニメ、これを興味あるよね。この3つ絶対に見るけど、残ってるは時間があれば見るよ。There's just so much to watch a week. ただ見たいものが多すぎるから。Like, it's not just anime, right? Right now, Proto's 101 Japan, Shinsekai is airing, and I'm watching that as well every week. So, I'm also preoccupied with that. そしてアニメだけじゃなく、今、日プも放送してるからね。あれも見てるから。時間が足りないよ、本当に。It's crazy you can keep up with these while being so busy. I don't know if I'll keep up with them. I'll watch these 3, but I don't know if I'll watch the other 4 because I don't know if I'll have time. De lo que pudiste ver, ¿quién es por ahora tu personaje preferido en Witch Hat Atelier? Pues han salido 2 capítulos y apenas conocimos como el cast, ¿no? Siento que no hemos tenido tiempo para conocer bien a los personajes para decir, este es mi favorito. Al menos que sea nada más por apariencia, pero me gustaría conocer el cast un poco más. Yeah, no, for Witch Hat Atelier, I don't think we have had enough episodes to be like, oh, this one's my favorite. Now, that's my favorite, like Vanta Senpai really likes referencing. We have we're barely being introduced to the cast, and we're still getting to know each character, so I do not think I can say, oh, this one's my favorite yet. I think I wanna get to see the characters, their personalities, their motivations, the way they use their magic before going like, that one's my favorite. Same for Yomi no Tsugai, because I didn't get to see much. But think it's gonna be a season, a spring season full of a lot of exciting things. Activities, stuff to watch. I'm getting my survival show fix that I was missing for a while. So I'm looking forward to a lot of things. I hope you guys can also have a lot of things to look forward this season and this year. そうですね。まあこの春でいっぱい楽しみしてるものが多いから、見たいもの、そして活動でもだからみんなも楽しみしてることがあればいいよね。I think this one's not this season, but I think it was brought up from a few listeners before. Firefly Wedding is something that I'm really looking forward to whenever it comes out. It seems really interesting, and I heard after looking up and then asking a few friends also, they said, oh yeah, it's really sad, it's really tragic. And I'm like, So I'm excited for the anime adaptation if that comes out. I think that's like October, right? So soon. そうですね。ホタルの嫁入りも興味あるよね。なんか友達に聞いてたけど、あれは結構悲しいよって言われて、僕が、なるほどね。ほうって考えちゃったね。だから見るの楽しみにしてるよ。でもそれは10月に出そうから、そろそろですね。But with that being said, I think I have shared the series that I was interested in. So I think I'm gonna be ending the stream here, wrapping up here. I'm just gonna read the super chats. Okay? じゃあ、もう興味あるシリーズを結構なんか紹介できましたから、じゃあそろそろ終わらせていただきますね。ただ、スーパーチャットを読ませていただきます。Thank you so much for joining me today. These beans and this coffee was really nice, so. Thank you. そうですね、配信に来てくださってありがとうございます。今日の豆も美味しかったです。So let's see. Oli, thanks so much for the super chat. シェアシェアに。Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the vibe of the coffee Zatsus. I hope you have a good time. Thank you. Zelia Ginjoka Bar, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you for coming. まずいさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。仕事行ってらっしゃいね。頑張ってください。ありがとうございます。Gracias. レモンクリームさん、スーパースティッカーありがとうございます。Thank you very much. リンコさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。おはようございます。今週も頑張りましょうね、みんな。Let's do our best this week, okay? Everyone? We got this. ペピさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。昨日のラジオが楽しかったって教えてもらってありがとうございます。Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much everyone that came to the radio once again. And thank you so much for enjoying it also. I was very happy with being able to do it with everyone, so thank you very much. そうね、みんなラジオに見に来てくださってありがとうございます。本当に楽しかったから。これからやるのを楽しみにしてます。銀さん、つぶチャットありがとうございます。 うん。ありがとうございます。いってらっしゃい、仕事ね。Kaivara, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, you definitely notice more of the quality, the notes, the properties of the beans if you don't put sugar in your coffee. So if you are able to get used to drinking coffee black, I feel like you cannot go back. And that rhymes. Haha. But yeah, I'm glad you're able to drink coffee black. Thank you very much. しおりさん、スパチャットありがとうございます。昨日のバイタビラジオに来てくださってありがとう。本当ですか？今日は喫茶店の日なの？日本で。知らなかったです。全然知らなかった。ありがとうございます。いってらっしゃいね。ありがとうございます。What? Today's a coffee shop day in Japan? I didn't know that. I don't know. Coffee shop day. I didn't know there was a coffee shop day, but if that is true, then I hope everyone has a... If you have a chance and enjoy some coffee in a coffee shop, then sure. Hope anyone that goes to a coffee shop has a nice time. 本当なら、みんな機会があれば喫茶店に寄っていい時間過ごせたらいいよね。喫茶店の日、ハッピー喫茶店の日。アニョンさん、スパチャットありがとうございます。ありがとう、ありがとう。これありがとうございます。Mint Rain, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. I'm glad you liked the By the Beat radio yesterday. Yeah, please look forward to the next episode. I wonder what topic it will be, because I don't know. We'll have to decide. そうね、次の By the Beat ラジオの話題はどうかな？まだわからないから。僕、みんなはまだ決めてないから。僕たちは決めたら多分、待機書が出るときに教えます。Once we decide with the topic then and the date of the radio episode, we'll share the topic so you guys have enough time. Jim C, thanks so much for the super chat. 谢谢你。谢谢。Thank you very much. COFM, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. The last few weeks have been full of content, right? Thank you very much for everyone for joining us along the way for what we have to offer this year. Thank you very much. モンチャさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。新学期ね。頑張ってください、みんな。頑張れ。勉強は大事。Everyone's starting a new school year, a new school term. Best of luck. Studying is important. Don't skip lessons to join a stream. I'll ban you, so don't do that. Good luck. みんな頑張ってくださいね。配信見るために授業をスキップしないでください。僕はバンするから。勉強は大事だ。アーカイブが後で見れるから。The archive will be on later, so. Study. Parasol Ghost, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, this season kind of like when last season I was watching like 2 or 3 series, and then I'm suddenly hit with like 8 or 9 series that seem interesting. I'm like, what? I don't have time for that. Why can't they spread it out? And I feel like maybe 10 years ago I would be like, why can't we get all these shows at once? But now I'm like, why can't we get these shows like slowly, one by one? It's really interesting how getting busy in life changes, you know? そうですね。まあ昔多分10年前ぐらいから10年前ぐらい僕がなんでが面白そうアニメが全部なんか同時でないのって思ってたけど、今はもうなんでゆっくりでないの？みんなが全部が同じ時出たら時間がないから面白いですね。大人の生活。That's what adult life does to you. Ella Lazy Boneman, thank you so much for the super chat. 谢谢你。Speaking of floral notes, I tend to notice fruity more than floral when tasting hand-poured coffee. Yeah, I mean, that's also gonna depend on what you're used to drinking. Maybe if you're used to drinking a lot of floral teas, it's gonna be easier for you to notice more florality in certain types of brews. And also the types of beans, the type of technique, you know. In the end, like I can describe these things, but maybe the same bean, the same brew will be perceived completely different to someone else. And these notes are just like a guideline, so it's really interesting how it all changes depending on the person. そうですね、まあコーヒーの印象ね、多分同じカップなら多分人によって印象は変わるかな。味わいとか。だから書いてもらってる味わいただガイドラインしかないよね。みんなのなんか風味センスが違うから。いやだから面白いですね。Arula, you thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Cardamom in their coffee. Have you ever tried coffee with spices? I've had like spiced milk drinks, but I don't think I've had like a spiced black coffee. Like I've had coffee beans that tasted kind of like they were related or like similar to spice. Like there was this lychee bean that I tried a while ago, and it really tasted like it was super spiced. It really reminded me of a lot of spices, but I mean the bean itself was not spiced, so it was interesting. But yeah, cardamom sounds interesting also. I hope it was nice. Miyapi-san, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Wait, am I missing something? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. I'm glad, thanks to my activities, people are able to discover new things that perhaps they're interested in. Even, there's always a possibility, right? Like I introduce maybe an anime series or coffee or a game, and you guys end up liking it even more than I do. But isn't that wonderful? Like you end up introducing something that someone gets really into, and being the reason for that, the catalyst for that. I think it's a big honor. So I think that's cool. Like when introducing something to a friend and the friend gets really into it even more than you do. I think that's cool. あの時があるよね。誰か友達とか今回はまあこの場合でリスナーさんに何か紹介したら、でも紹介された人が紹介した人よりあのものをもっと好きになっちゃうことは本当に面白いですね。まあ素晴らしいだと思うね。僕の影響で誰かを好きなことを見つけましたから。いいだと思うね。Winsell, thanks so much for the super chat. Terima kasih. especially surprised that you proposed about the radio. The radio, like, having a radio show was not just my idea. I cannot take credit for that. That was something we all agreed with. It's just the formatting, and the formatting is something also that we all agreed with. Whenever we do something together, I always ask them, okay, what do you guys think about this? And then maybe they'll add their own ideas, right? So I don't want to take full credit for the radio. But it was definitely like a layout that I tried investigating how other libraries did it, how radio shows did it, in order to make sure that it felt like a radio. So I'm glad you guys liked it, and the By the Beat members also were able to give really cool ideas for it. So it's a product of everyone's work. そうですね、もちろんなんかラジオの提案はみんなの提案だったけど、ただなんかどうやってやるのを考えたときに、僕がいろんななんかライバのラジオ番組と別のラジオ番組を3個したね。なんかなんていうの、9件してた。でももちろん決めるときにみんなが決めるから、僕がクレジットを奪いたくないよね。あ、研究9件じゃなくてああ、間違えた。 OK、 研究だ。エイミー P スーパーチャットありがとうございます。東京ドームシティアトラクションに切ってくださってありがとうございます。に行ってくださってありがとうございます。Thank you everyone, by the way, for that's been able to go to not just the Tokyo Dome City collab, the Manekineko collab, the pop-up stores, the collab cafe. It's I think everyone participating is happy that you guys are enjoying it, so thank you very much everyone for making the time to attend all these collab events, to purchase the goods. So thank you very much everyone. もちろんですね、みんなさん東京ドームシティアトラクションだけじゃなくてポップアップストアとか招き猫コラボとか喫茶店カフェコラボとかに行ってくださって、フォトイズムコラボも、いや、フォトイズムコラボ also もうなんか僕たちの活動に参加するために時間を作ってくれてありがとうございます。本当に参加してるライバーが絶対にみんなが喜んでると思うからありがとう。EN をオンしてくださってありがとうございます。Thank you very much everyone for supporting EN. It really means a lot to everyone, so we'll keep doing our best. みんなもこれから頑張りますね。Super Sunray, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed you have found a recipe that you really enjoy. I feel like whenever you're getting into coffee and you're getting into brewing coffee, it can be a frustrating process when it's kind of like there's so many recipes, which one's the one right for me? But when you finally find the one that's for you, it's like Eureka, you know? You finally got it, so I'm glad you were able to find one. もちろんですね、ハンドリップ始まるときに、レシピが多くて、絶対に圧倒されるよね。でも、ようやく、お気に入りレシピを見つけるときに、本当になんかいい感じだから、満足してる感じから。だから、よかったね、みんな。あの時を、あれをもう見つけた人。僕もそんな感じだったから。And even then, sometimes I have my doubts, like, maybe I like this previous recipe more. Sometimes it depends on the bean, sometimes it depends on, I don't know, the mood, the season, so it's a never-ending journey. 本当になんかいいショーの旅だ。コーヒーが。 But you guys know what's not a never-ending journey, this stream, so I think we were able to read all the super chats, so I'm gonna be calling it a day here. Thank you very much, everyone. As for next week, well, for Saturday the 18th in Asia time, we are gonna be, Banta Senpai and I are gonna be participating in Anime Fest, Malaysia, I believe. So for those joining us, we'll be under your care. Let me... Yeah, Anime Fest Plus in Malaysia. So anyone that's gonna be joining us will be under your care. I'm really excited for... I think it's my... I don't know about Bento Senpai, but it's gonna be my first time in a Malaysia event, so that's gonna be fun. And yeah, I guess for next week, I'm gonna try... Remember that during Fatum Beitulai, I mentioned that I wanted to play a really immersive, atmospheric FPS game. It's not really a horror game, but it's just an FPS campaign game. We're gonna be playing that as well as another interesting horror game, so we're gonna have 2 atmospheric games, hopefully, this week. As for the rest, please look forward to the schedule. そうですね、来週のネタはね、もう、土曜日に、ベント先輩とアニメフェストプラスのマレーシアのイベントに参加するから、あれも楽しみにしてるよね。そして、配信なら、まあ、結構面白い世界観 FPS を短い FPS をやります。そして多分また面白そうホラゲ特徴があるホラゲやります。よし。With that being said, I'll see you guys this week, okay? This week or next week. じゃあ今週もよろしくお願いしますね。またねみんな。See you guys. Bye bye. Mr. Debonair is playing Pokemon Pokopia, so we're gonna be redirecting to his stream, okay? 今、デボネアさんがポケモンやってるから、あそこにリダイレクトしますね。Did you guys know that it's called Pokoa Pokemon in Japanese? I wonder if it's a reference to the Spanish phrase Poco a Poco, which means to do something slowly. But it's called Pokopia in English. みんなは、日本語でポコアポケモンって言ってるよね。スペイン語のセリフ、ポコアポコの3個かなだって、スペイン語でゆっくりの意味。僕は分からないけど、ただ僕の理論だった。日本でセリフが有名だと思うから。Because I believe in Japan, the phrase poco a poco is pretty popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Sería genial que fuera por eso, sí, ¿no? Por alguna razón nuestra frase está en la versión japonesa de Pokopia, pero ni siquiera está en la versión hispana. It's kind of funny though, because if that is the case, then it means that we have Spanish in the Japanese version, but we don't have Spanish in the Spanish version of the game. けど面白いんですね。だって日本語版でスペイン語があるけど、スペイン語版で全然ないよ。ポコピアだから。面白いね。Alright. See you guys. またね。